Hello, good morning, everybody. I hope you are having a good morning. So we'll start off with a pair on our screen. This is Euro USD. Hello. Hello. So we'll start off by looking at the pair on our screen. This is Euro USD. The first thing that I want to mention before I look into this pair, I want to say that if you are that person who holds trades overnight and then you like trading golds or other metals, you can now trade swap free. What that means is that you'll be able to hold trades overnight without being charged anything. So this is an offer which started on 11th of November and we are still having it running until 11th of October. So you still have some days to enjoy this. If you're that person who trades gold, silver, or any other metal, you can now hold your trades overnight without being charged anything. So the amount which you're charged for holding trades overnight is actually referred to as the swap. You can find it here. Just a second. Look at this. This is I'm going to buy this pair. This is a demo account first. I'm going to buy it. To buy that, the amount which you always accumulate here overnight is what is referred to as the swap amount. It's the amount you are charged for holding trades overnight. So this is not a good trade. I was just using that to illustrate the concept of swap. It's not a good trade. I'm going to close it right away. So on this chart, on the daily 1 hour, this is what we 4 hours, this is what we have. We have a support there. We have a resistance here, a support, and currently we are approaching the same place. So as long as the price remains above this is a very good support during 3rd of September, around 3rd of September. It was a good support on 10th to 13th of September. And as we're speaking now, this is 25th of September. The price is somehow approaching it. So if price does not clearly descend below this level, then this could be a very good place to buy from. But then if the opposite happens, that is, if the price clearly goes below that support, then we'll simply wait for retracement before we pick a sell even lower. So that will be a very good one. If price can do exactly as we said, that if price can go below that level there, then that will be a very good place to sell from. If price can clearly descend below the level which I've drawn, that will form a very good place to sell from. So the idea is not even to look for a sell now, but watch and see what happens around that level. If price does not clearly go below it, then that will mean you're looking for a buy. But if price does break below it, then that could mean you're continuing to the lower side. So the idea is not even to look for a sell. As I've mentioned, you don't look for a sell and don't look for a buy unless you see a buy signal. If there is no buy signal, we are doing nothing. So we'll move forward. We move forward to our next chart, GBP USD. GBP USD, so far this looks like a sell for me, and I want to mention why I'm saying this is a sell. Just look at this level, and then also look at this, and then look at this, like this was like one part of a V, and then this is the next part of that V, which means price needs to come back down up to this level here. So if you are looking at this, but this is like an inverted V formation. We've gone below some significant level and we are still below the zone, which is this. Yeah. We are below a very significant zone. as long as you have price rallying below that zone, expect it to continue even lower. We have this, and then you also have this resistance. There's a break above, it came back as a support, continued up, it even went below. Somehow we are still below this level, so we expect price to proceed up to this level here. We expect price to proceed up to the first take profit, and this I'll also color this, and so we are able to see clearly. We expect price to come back down up to that level, and if it continues even lower, then the next best place to look for is this. So if you successfully pick a sell, as you're speaking, if you are able to see any sell around this level here, expect that sell to take price up to the first take profit or the next one, which should be here. So we'll move forward to USDJPY. USDJPY so far, this chart looks much better on the weekly and on the monthly, because that's where the key levels are. We have this clear level here. We also have this. We also have this level here, and then we also have this at the top, somewhere there. Then we have this here, and then we have this at the bottom. So technically on this side, these are the levels to look for. The ones which have done the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, and the sixth one. So anytime the price approaches any of these levels, that will give us a good place to look for a trade from. If price comes to any of the levels which I've drawn, that will give us the best place to look for a trade from. So as it is now, I actually recommend waiting for price to come up to the upper line. I recommend price to come up to this resistance. Let price pull back up to this resistance, then that will be the correct place we'll be looking for a sell from. As it is, I cannot say that where the price is now is a sell. So we want price to go perfectly up to this resistance. Let price come back to this resistance, then we'll be able to pick a sell from that point. So we'll move forward to our next symbol, that is SP500. So before I move on, SP500 should move in the same direction as USDJPY. If both of them are giving you the same signal, you better be trading them. Just look at this, a resistance, it continued down, came back as a resistance, continued down, came back as a resistance, continued down, it came back, but is yet to hit that level. So we want price to perfectly hit this line here. We want price to come back up to that resistance so that we are able to sell it there at the lowest possible risk. If you didn't sell it on the third count there, you still have the chance to sell it if it gets back in the future. But then if it does not do that, instead it continues upwards, then we'll wait for retracement back to the same level so that you can buy it even higher. So you can see the move which we saw below this trend line, the lower one, was actually a false breakout. This one, this was a perfect false breakout, perfect bearish false breakout. After this, a retracement, so that you can continue buying it even now. So if price bounces off from this level here, we'll actually expect it to go up to this support so that we are able to buy it from that point even higher. This one. So we're waiting to buy it there, then we'll expect that to push price up to the next level. So we are somehow inside some channel, though not a very clear one, but we are somehow inside a very good channel. So we'll move forward, move to our next chart, and that should be Brent oil. And Brent oil, as I mentioned, we are perfectly sellers. We have this here, very good resistance. It was used previously from the start. We had a resistance, then we had a resistance, and then we had a resistance here. Then from the low one, we had this, a support there, had this as support, and then had this as a support. Yeah. So technically the price needs to break above that level, then retrace back before we can continue upwards up to the next level, which is this here. So we actually expect a buy. When price goes above that level, that will be a buy. I'm not going to buy a bounce from this level because that could be a false one. The price may actually break below. So if it does break below this level like this, then we'll simply wait for some retracement before we pick a sell up to the next level, which is this one. Yeah. So wait for break below, a retracement, then pick a sell, or a break a buy, then a retracement before you can buy to the upper side. So we move forward to our next chart, which is gold. Gold, this, as I mentioned at the start, you can now hold your trades overnight without being charged swap. So swap is the amount of money you're charged for holding your trades overnight. You can now trade gold without being charged anything like swap. So gold here is where, yeah, have it here. Gold, we expected a move upwards, but then somehow we are consolidating. It looks much better on the 1 hour. Yesterday we were waiting for a buy. After this breakout, we wanted price to retrace before we can buy it up to this resistance. So far that has not happened. Instead, the price pulled back down and even ended up closing below the same place we wanted to buy from. So that means you should expect a move up to 1493.87. Expect a bearish momentum up to this level, something like this, before we can either return up after retracement, continue, or the price may break below this level completely. It may break below, then retrace back before we can pick a sell from that point even further. So the best, actually, if you may want to look for a sell here, or you may want to wait for price to bounce off from this level so that you buy, or break above this level so that you continue buying it up to the next level. So thank you very much, guys. That should be the end of today's market overview. We should meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Bye.